Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Plus. My name is Graham Day, and we have the anniversary man, the man that we call Baby, Arid.
Good morning. I know. Can you believe that someone's put up with me for 1 year in marriage and 9 years in, real time? It's unbelievable, really.
Having sat next to you for a year and a bit, then yes, I can. Yes, yes.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, sort of to get on well with people. If I think you're a bit of a cock, I'll call you a cock. Do you know what I mean? It's straight down the middle, straight shooter. Graham, be a cock.
I just realised I said the wrong thing. He said, "Can you believe someone's put up with me?" I said, "Yes, I can." What I meant to say was, "I've been sat next to you for a year." Shit, no, I can't. Completely the wrong way. Oh, balls that up. But anyway, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Applause. My name is Graham Day, and yeah, good morning to Mr. Enix in the chat. Yo, Miz. We have at least one of your news articles featured in today's news. And that's because if anyone is new here, you can submit your own news to be included within the scoop. What is the scoop? Well, myself and Bip, who's got his PUBG hat on. Yeah!
We're going to look like right twats now, aren't we?
So I've got a PUBG hat and a PUBG t-shirt on, so there we go. But anyway, yes, welcome. My name's Graham, this is Bib. We are Ice Cream in a true Ice Creamy fashion. This is your episode of The Scoop for Monday, the 1st of June. The Scoop is your daily dose of news from the world of video games and beyond. We bring you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And that is what we're doing right now. Is Bibby's bringing you the biggest, the best, the breaking hats from the world of video games. We had a Twitch hat, we jumped onto a PUBG hat, then onto a Pez hat.
I'll stay with the Pez hat.
I'm not a fan of that, Bib, not whatsoever. Let me just change my hat and stick my Pez hat on as well. Okay, back to PUBG.
That wacky races over
here. Well, lovely start to it. Where is my PUBG hat, says Jordan? We got this Gamescom, so just get yourself on a plane. Don't do that because you probably get some sort of lockdown, like confined kind of thing or whatever. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but yeah, you get put in a box. So no. Anyway, I was saying we are bringing you your daily dose of news from the world of video games. We bring you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories, and want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions so we can have a little bit of a conversation. And it's important that if you are live in the Twitch chat, just like Jordan is doing now, feel free to get involved in the conversation. It's important that you do because we turn this podcast into a video on-demand podcast. So we're live right now on Twitch, but we go on-demand on YouTube a little bit later on in the day. And anyone watching on YouTube gets to drop comments down below the videos, but they don't get to speak directly to Bibby on his anniversary. So if you are, you use the opportunity. And then a little bit later on in the day, we turn the video podcast into an audio podcast that goes out on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you are here, please feel free to say hello using our exclusive emote, which actually has sound effects. So let me drop the emote in there. Bibby, what does that emote say?
Hello!
There we go, yeah! Pal, smashed it. Anyway, 10 seconds, Bib. What did you get up to on the weekend?
Played Saints Row 4, played Pro Evo 6, and that is about it. Oh, had 2 barbecues.
2 barbecues?
2 barbecues. Saturday and Sunday, the double, the back-to-back, the 2-time.
Jammy. I played PUBG, surprisingly. Had alcohol, did a quiz, a Skype/Zoom quiz. It was a Skype quiz, but everyone calls it Zoom quizzes on Friday. And then ordered from Lucky Mama's Pizza in Manchester, which was incredible.
Oh, that looked tits.
It was amazing. Genuinely, one of the best pizzas I've ever eaten. And like, they were only kind of like the boxes were about that big, so you're thinking, it's actually not that big, because usually when you order a pizza, it's size over substance mostly. If that's big enough, it'll do. That's what she said. But yeah, they turned up. I was like, they're not that big. And then this little pot of pasta. But then you got to pick up the pot of pasta, and it's like picking up a dumbbell. It was absolutely stocked in. So I was like, damn.
Swimming with cheese.
Oh, it was amazing. It was incredible. There was so much. Me, Danielle ate on the Saturday, then me, Danielle, and Chloe ate again on the Sunday. There was that much of it. So good efforts. But anyway, let's jump into the news. The reason I said 10 seconds is because it's Bibby's anniversary. He's got things to do, and I've got PUBG to jump into straight after this stream. So we're going to jump into the news, and we have quite a lot to pick through today. We've been selective with the news. So if there is any news that you want us covering, then feel free to drop it in the Discord or at Ice Cream Uploads on Twitter, and we'll get to it tomorrow. But today we kind of had to skim it down because there's a lot to go through. So if your stories aren't here, then yeah, bring it up in the conversation. We'll see if we can include bits, but yeah, probably not today. Anyway, the first bit of news of the day, and it's a bit of a doozy. It is official, the PS5 will be unveiled on June the 4th. That is Thursday this week. Sony announces a digital showcase. So let me get into the news. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced it will hold a PlayStation 5 digital event on Thursday, June the 4th. It'll last for more than 1 hour and offer the first look at PS5 games. Boss Jim Ryan said on the platform's blog. The presentation will begin streaming at 9 p.m. BST. There is other times in there if you're interested. There are a few things as exciting as the launch of a new console, Ryan said. While this road to launch has been a bit different, we are as thrilled as ever to bring you with us on this journey to redefine the future of video games. We've shared technical specifications and shown you the new DualSense wireless controller, but what is a launch without games? That's why I'm excited to share with you that we will soon give you a first look at the games you'll be playing after PlayStation 5 launches this holiday. The games coming to PS5 represent the best in the industry from innovative studios that span the globe. Studios both larger and smaller, those newer and those more established, have all been hard at work developing games that will showcase the potential of the hardware. Earlier this month, Sony said it would reveal a compelling lineup of PlayStation 5 games in the near future. Company president and CEO Kenichiro Yoshida announced the plan during Sony's corporate strategy meeting, where he claimed increased speed, enhanced sensory perceptions generated by PS5's DualSense controller, and sound delivered in 3D audio would combine to create revolutionary next-gen game experiences. Games for the PS5 that deliver this new game experience are being made by both first and third-party developers, and we plan to introduce a compelling lineup of titles soon, he said. Sony also said it was too soon to judge PS5 on its marketing campaign in response to criticism about its promotional activities lagging behind Microsoft's Xbox Series X product reveals. In a Games Industry.biz interview published on Friday, Ryan discussed the challenge of announcing a new games console without a physical event. Obviously, the shows, whether it's GDC, PAX, E3, Gamescom, they've all gone, he said. We have to live in a world where that particular oxygen isn't available to the industry. It's not available to PlayStation or anybody else. We just have to come up with ways to communicate what we're doing and try to engender the same level of adrenaline, excitement, and buzz that we get with thousands of people in an auditorium in Los Angeles, and do that somehow remotely. Ryan also said Sony is aiming to offer the best possible value proposition it can with PS5, but that doesn't necessarily mean the lowest price. Woo! Big news to start the day.
Massive. It feels really weird already though, because was it Friday that we went through the games that they was it PlayStation Magazine that we saw the games in?
Yeah, official PlayStation Magazine UK.
Yeah, so it's weird that we've already seen potentially what games are going to be coming out at launch, but is this going to be the time that we actually see them for the first time?
Could
are
be.
we going to see actual gameplay, or are we just going to get a hybrid of both like we saw with the Xbox One?
Are we gonna? Yeah, I'm gonna say. Are we gonna get gameplay that's actual gameplay, or are we gonna get gameplay that's gameplay?
Yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, the trailer for this. I mean, this came out. Was it about? I don't know. It must have been about 6 o'clock-ish, maybe 5 o'clock-ish on Friday. So it was well after we'd gone off air, which is why obviously we didn't include it in any of Friday's content. And it might have even been earlier than that. No. Anyway, all I remember is I was walking. I clocked up like 50 kilometres walked, humble brag by the way, last week. So I was out walking with Danielle and my phone flashed up. Do you know when you get those little notifications at the top of the screen when you're just about to press the top of the screen for something else? So I pressed on this YouTube notification. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it just took me to a video and I just heard the blink noise that the PS5 video started with, and I was like, so I just killed it and I was like, actually, wait a minute, what was that? So I clicked on it and it was like, it's about 10-15 second video where they just announce this artwork. Let me bring it back on screen for you. So this PS5 Future of Gaming artwork at the top of the screen, it was basically a moving version of that, and I was like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. I mean, they haven't mentioned anything about showing off the console, but that was quite a hardware centric video. Maybe that's because that's the only visible grounding we have. We've seen the DS5, we haven't seen the console, we haven't seen any games other than Godfall. So, yeah, maybe that is the only thing they could have gone with. But the fact that they went with that made me think, okay, are we going to get the PS5 reveal within this? Maybe we won't, but maybe if we don't, maybe there's a good chance that we could finish it with okay, that's the look at the games. If you want to see what the PS5 looks like yourself, join us on this date. So maybe this will be the precursor to the next one.
Yeah. I'm excited for it anyway. I mean, we've seen some of the Xbox stuff and the games that was potentially, well, it was third-party games, but what we saw in the Xbox one, I mean, me and you seem to be in the minority with that because we aren't in the Xbox console cycle. We're not in that universe. I mean, we both have one, but it's not our primary console that we use. We aren't in that ecosystem. And for us to be outsiders going in and looking at the stuff that was coming out for it and being excited by 13 new IPs, was it? Or was it? It might have been 12 or 11 new IPs, and then a revisit to something else with Assassin's Creed. That was exciting for me. I know we don't speak for the rest of the world, but being here and watching them getting unveiled with the rest of our chat and going through them, it was incredible. So hopefully, I'm going to try and juggle a few things, and we could potentially do the same thing for this Thursday, the PS5 one.
I agree. Mr. Tharian Drake, good morning. How's
morning,
things?
Geezer.
Yeah, I agree. So 9 o'clock on Thursday. Set your alarms now, or even just if you're not doing so already, make sure you hit follow on the channel because we will be doing another live watch along. I mean, maybe we'll try to juggle things. I can almost say definitely that I'll be doing it. So 9 p.m. I mean, I'll be watching it live. I know it makes sense to watch it live on Twitch. So 9 p.m. be here, and you can watch it with us. We will stream it. I've already looked into it. It is being streamed live on Twitch as well, so we can co-stream that. So that's good.
Sweet.
Enix says, sent to Graham yesterday, wait until July to judge Microsoft on next gen for now. Yeah, that's true. He did. I can confirm he said that.
to be absolutely honest, I would judge both of them when they both arrive out, not what's coming beforehand.
I think, yeah. I mean, that was the gist of what I was saying yesterday. It's probably just the way it's come across there, but yeah, that's kind of the same sort of thing.
Thank you for the ice cream.
Tharian Drake, thank you very much for the host. Much appreciated. Fantastic. And you? Yeah, I'm good. Starting a new week. We've got a lot of news. We've got PS5 information and stuff. So, yeah. Jordan was actually saying, and for those of you that have watched the scoop over the last couple of weeks, will have seen that we have a little bit of a friendly poking fun at Jordan because Jordan is quite a big Xbox guy. But he was saying,
what?
Yeah. I know, it's strange, but he was saying that he thinks he might buy the PS5 first because, from what it sounds like, Xbox will be delivering you upscaled current gen, whereas PS5, the games that are coming out aren't what's smart delivery? Hey,
thank you, Ed.
Yeah, much appreciated, Ed. Good morning. How was the stream? Yeah, so Jordan was saying basically that's a little bit inflammatory, that comment. I understand it's not quite exactly that, but yeah, the gist of it was Xbox gives you upgraded current gen stuff for now on the Series X, whereas PlayStation appears to be launching with next gen games. So you're launching with Godfall, which is a PS5 game that you might be able to play on PS4, whereas Xbox seems like it's the other way around. So he was saying that the PS5 might be what he goes with, although then that's where the chat moved on to saying that actually just take stock of what's been revealed on June the 4th, and then the mid-June when Xbox have their next event, and then mid-July when Xbox do their first-party stuff. At that point, you'll be more equipped to then go, actually, do you know what? There is a lot of games coming for the Xbox, I'll go for that. Or there is no games that I can't play on the PS4 on the Xbox, so I'll just stick with that or whatever. So, forgetting the PS5 completely. So yeah, that was the gist of that. But for those of you that missed it, we are going to keep trying to roll through things pretty quick, because usually we would sit and we'd dissect this heavily, but we've got quite a bit of news that we want to jump through today. So for those of you that missed the story we're talking about, it's this. The official announcement is that the PS5 will be unveiled on June the 4th. PS5, not necessarily the console. It's a digital showcase, so we will be seeing the games that will be on the console. There's a good chance we could see the console. It's not likely, or not definite though. We may just see games. The console may follow a later date. The only way you'll know for certain is to watch that conference at 9 p.m. on Thursday. We will be watching it live on the channel, so feel free to watch it along with us, and we'll give you our thoughts as we go. Speaking about giving our thoughts as we go, let's jump into the next bit of news, which we don't have to go too far away from the topic we've been on. And there we go. Sony to develop PS5 exclusives, which will not be playable on PS4. Ooh, ties into what we were just talking about. It's almost like we knew where we were going with the next bit of news. Good morning, Mr. T. Asim Tanvia. What does that emote say, babe?
It says, 1 second, I woke up flamey as shit today. Hello!
Yes, the goddamn Redditors. Tharian Drake says, now the real question, will the PS5 be able to handle the Unreal Engine 5 to its full potential? You kind of have to feel that's the case, because UE5 opted to show their demo on a PS5, so you kind of feel that it should be the case, but then again, I mean, it depends. That extra power that the Xbox has doesn't have as good an SSD for gaming, apparently. This is all, I'm just going off bits that I've read before. I don't know, I'm not a tech dude myself to that level. But apparently the PS5 has some better components, but the Xbox has the better hardware overall, so it could go either way. But anyway, jumping into this news written by Stephany Nunneley says, Sony to develop PS5 exclusives which will not be playable on PS4. This is according to Sony's Jim Ryan speaking with GI Biz, who told the site the company plans on developing games that will be exclusive to PS5. Quote within the article says, we've always said that we believe in generations, said Ryan. We believe that when you go to all the trouble of creating a next-gen console, it should include features and benefits that the previous generation does not include. Amen. And that, in our view, people should make games that can make the most of those features. We do believe in generations. Whoop, rolling too far. We do believe in generations, and whether it's the DualSense controller, whether it's the 3D audio, whether it's the multiple ways that the SSD can be used, we are thinking that it's time to give the PlayStation community something new, something different that can be really only be enjoyed on the PS5. Microsoft will handle things differently, though, as the company doesn't plan on releasing games exclusive to Xbox Series X until at least a year or two, or even two after the console launches. This means that Microsoft Studios games will be made available for both consoles, at least during the launch period. This is according to Matt Booty, who said to expect titles to be playable across both Xbox One and Xbox Series X. Next week, on June the 4th, which is this week now, Sony will reveal games for the PS5, and the live stream will kick off at 9 PM on Thursday. It's expected to run for a little over an hour, and we will have it all live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. It's amazing because you can't see it in the small print bit there, but that's exactly what it says. Watch it on Ice Cream Uploads. There you go. Interesting. See that? Actually, let me jump to the split screen. I've not even got Bibby on split screen. God, it's his anniversary. You don't even get half the screens. What are you doing, Graham? So you guys in the chat, what do you make of that? Sony are saying, Sony's message is, it's a new generation. It's the next generation. We are making you spend your money on the new hardware for the future. We believe we should give you games that maximize that hardware for the future. Xbox is saying, if you got new or old hardware, we believe that the games should be playable regardless of your device. One of them is right, one of them is wrong. Not the case. That's absolutely not the case whatsoever. I mean, they both could be right, but what is your opinion? Do you believe you're paying for the hardware, you should get the best out of it? Do you believe that a one-size-fits-all approach is good so that everyone can be involved? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Bib?
Well, usually when when the console comes out, you give it 2 or 3 years, and then eventually people will stop developing games for the previous console, unless it was like the PlayStation 2, where they were still creating PlayStation 1 games, which seemed to go on forever. I mean, massive example, they were still releasing PES until 2014 on the PlayStation 2. Yep. Do you know what I mean? But usually about 3 or 4 years after the consoles come out, they'll stop creating new IPs or new versions of games in a series for the previous console. It just seems like they've escalated that and moved it forward at a pace, and they're going to create in games next year that won't be available on PlayStation 4. It was inevitable. It's weird that they've done it. It's that the time gap that they usually do this kind of thing for has been reduced massively by about 2 years. But I mean, with the way that technology is moving forward and how fast and graphical power that comes with some of the games that are going to be coming out, like that Tomb Raider clone or whatever it was, Lumines, was that what it was called? The one that they did the epic
Lumin in the Land of Nanite.
Yeah, that.
Like that.
I mean, I reckon that would definitely struggle to run on the PlayStation 4 with the power that the PlayStation 5 possesses. There's a reason why they saved that game for the demo of the PlayStation 5. If they do, if they was to make games like that, they would have to include something in there like you get on the PC, you know, where you put your disc in or you download the game and it'll read what kind of power you're using on your PlayStation, and then drop the graphics right the way down to be able to play it if you don't have a good PC. They'd have to start doing that for some of these games if that was the case. But yeah, this was inevitable, but usually it would be like 2 or 3 years into the life cycle. With this happening maybe next year, it hasn't given a date or what the games could be or anything. This is just very vague, but just to expect it. It's kind of a PSA, really. But yeah, it's weird.
I mean, I'm, like I said, not a fanboy, but I do lean towards Sony because that's where most of my gaming takes place. But I agree with Sony's messaging. When I read the Xbox messaging and I start to read between the lines with my own take of Microsoft will handle things differently though, as the company doesn't plan on releasing games exclusive to the Xbox Series X until a year or two after launch. This means that Xbox Studio games will be made available for both consoles.
That's traditional, isn't it? That's the way that console games have always been.
It is, but you always get like a step up. Like people, it almost seems like you're trying to have the inclusive message. Like we want everyone to be included in our journey. Which is that because you want everyone to be included, or is that you flipping the script? Have you not got the games that can maximize the next gen just yet? So you're taking that out of the equation and saying that you want everyone to be involved. That's kind of what it reads like to me. Another thing, I was chatting with Jordan when we were playing PUBG over the weekend, and I was saying it is really clever if they've done that because they're changing the conversation. They don't have to have a conversation about do they have the games if they're talking about they want to make their games for everyone. They've been quite good with that, as well as you don't have to be compared to PlayStation, who's far superior right now, if you don't say that they are competitors. Oh no, Amazon's our competitors. Yeah, because they've got one game. So yeah, they're proper our competitors. Stadia, yeah, they're our competitors because they're crap as well. So yeah, anyone that's not really doing it is our competitors. You're always going to win the race in that sort of sense. So
there is another way of looking at it as well, though. Like if there was one team or side that you're looking at it from that was going to be losing out from this, it would always be Sony, because they have an install base of 110 million currently as it stands, and that's we've still got 4 or 5 months left of this console cycle. At 110 million units sold, there is potentially 110 million units in people's houses. Them creating games for the PlayStation 5 that potentially won't be playable on PlayStation 4 means that not as many people are going to play it. That's just simple math in it. Do you know what I mean? So if there's one side that's missing out, it will be Sony. But if they're confident enough that the games that they're going to be creating for the brand new console is worthy of them not reducing the graphical prowess that they've seen on the PlayStation 4, then so be it. Them games are obviously going to be visually stunning. It very much like what we've seen with Breath of the Wild. It came out on the Wii U and it also came out on the Switch. Guess which one looked better? It's just the way it is. I agree. Oh shit! I've just turned my Xbox 360.
Beep.
So, did you hear it?
Yeah.
It's so stupid, like hover button and motion buttons, daft. But yeah, I agree with them. If you're confident that the game that you're going to be putting out is going to be hindered by the hardware in the PlayStation 4, just make the best game that you can for the PlayStation 5. People will, if they are in that ecosystem, eventually get a PlayStation 5. Then there'll be a ton of games that they'll be able to come into when they get the PlayStation 5. It's the same way that I didn't have an Xbox and I've gone back and I've been able to play the games that I haven't been able to play this console generation purely because I didn't have an Xbox One. I've been able to go and I've been able to enjoy them games. It's just the way that it is. PlayStation 5 is going to be a hell of a console, and the power difference between the PS4 and the PS5 is going to be huge. If they want to be able to put out the best that they can and believe that the PlayStation 5 is the only place that you can play these games to their to their vision of what they want their game to play like on the PlayStation 5, and it's not going to be anywhere close to the PlayStation 4. Right thing to do. Just get them out the door. Eventually, people will get these new consoles.
We need to go through and clip when Bibby has like a brain fart moment. It does, yeah. So what do they call it? Blah. We just need like a 30-second clip of blah.
Yeah. Blah. You'd have too much to clip.
No, I completely believe that if I'm spending 500 quid on a new console, which we could be, if I'm spending 499 on a console, I want 499 worth of upgrades. So I want Godfall in 4K 60 or whatever it's going to play. I want it to look better. I mean, using football games as a specific example, because I have the ability to do that across 2 gens. So PS2 to PS3, I remember still being fairly young, being at my dad's house and looking after a kid that was over the road babysitting, and he'd got like the PS2 on day one. We didn't get it until like a couple of months later. So we were playing football games on my that was the PS3. So we were playing football games on my PS2. He got the PS3, should I say, on day one. And the step up in visual quality was huge. So it's like, okay, I know this. That's like he was playing FIFA, I don't know, 2000 and whatever. I could have played that on my PS2, but once I'd seen that step in quality, why would I want to play that football on the PS2 when I can play it on a PS3 when it looks so much better? And then the jump wasn't as drastic. It was still a big enough jump though, from PS3 to PS4. Day one PS4, you're playing FIFA 2014 or whatever it was, the one with Messi on the cover. That came out on both consoles at the same time. There was a clear jump between the two. And well, like Tharian Drake says, it wasn't just how it looked, but how it ran. Exactly, 100%. So if I've spent 400 quid on a console, I don't want that last gen feel. If I'm spending 500 quid on a console, I definitely don't want the last gen feel. I want it to feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it. Excuse me. So as Jim Ryan says, we believe in generations. We believe that when you go to all the trouble of creating a next-gen console, it should include the features and benefits that the previous generation does not include. Amen. That for me, 100%. Why am I bothering buying a new console? Why? If I can experience it with a little bit less frames and a little bit less HD polish or whatever to a reasonably high level without spending 500 quid, then what is the point? So I get what Microsoft are doing there. It seems to me, for whatever reason, they've got... I don't know if it's a shortfall or not. We don't know. We can't say until we know all of their marketing plan. But it seems like they can't promise the game, so they're promising that inclusivity and everyone gets to be involved. But, that's lovely. Everyone can get involved right now. So why do we need a new gen if that's what it's about? So, yeah, I'm in the camp of, if I'm spending the money... I am a consumer at the end of the day. I am a paying customer. So what am I paying for? If I'm paying to just have a little bit high def loving, then great, wonderful. I'll go to the PlayStation. I'll have a fucking super high def loving with my super built for purpose games that are going to be wonderful. Well, I said they're going to be wonderful. We'll find out more of that on Thursday at 9 PM when we watch it live on twitch.tv/icecreampods. But anyway, let me scroll back up and jump through the chat, because we've had quite a lot of chat and a lot of people within the chat this morning that we haven't.
Thanks for joining us this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, very much appreciate having you all here. Daisy and Lewis. Hi, boys. Now then, how's things? Chucky says, morning, guys. Forgot you were going to be on time today. I was going to say I'm sorry, but usually it should be 10 AM. Ish.
There's always the ish at the end. It's usually 10 to 11.
So yes, we started on time. So apologies for starting on time today. Usually we do stress the 10 AM ish, but today we've got a lot to get through, and Bibby's got a lot to get through afterwards as well. So, morning, guys. Forgot you guys. What was it? Oh, I didn't mean that in some sort of. It's Bibby's anniversary. He's got a lot to get through. Wink, wink. Anyway, swiftly moving on. Let's not fall down that rabbit hole, which is also what she said. So Sony PS5 for me, no matter what. I am Sony through and through, says Ed the Caveman. Oh, we should put Ed the Caveman and Jordan in a room and have like Ed on one side, Mr. PS5, and Jordan, Mr. Xbox, and bow. I'm joking. Personally, no. Oh, Mr. Butters, Jim Butters, aka Graham's COD Warzone duo/trios partner. Yes, welcome to the stream, James. Personally, no problems with it, as they need to make it worth upgrading. It's the same with phones. Why upgrade when something is the same/similar? I'll be getting PS5 anyways. I agree. I want, if I'm paying for it, I want an upgrade. There has to be a reason for it. So I'm firmly on board with that. Tharian Drake says, I mean, you can play your old games on the new gen, but why stick with fighting 5 enemies when you could be overrun by an actual mob? Yeah, why get battered by two or three people when you can be mutilated by all of them? Halo and Final Fantasy, says Jordan. What's the context? just generally. Very Drake. Why not get the most out of your hardware? Play your classics, but always try and push the boundaries of gaming. I agree. Ed says that's because Xbox don't have any good games. Jordan says it's 100% because Microsoft's exclusives aren't ready yet, so they went with the BC route for a narrative for launch. Halo is the one game I would buy a console only for, but I'm worried it's mega held back by One X or Xbox One. Good point. I've not even considered that, to be fair. Halo will be the first example of what a cross-gen game appears like next gen as its first-party title and major franchise. Graham made a good point on the smart delivery, and the BC stuff will technically only last for a year/2 years until Microsoft Studios catch up and can release the games. BC, by the way, is backwards compatible, for those that don't know. Darian Drake, I've got those bits as well. So yeah, that Halo's a good point. It's not so much that they can't develop. They don't have the games at the moment, so they're trying to make the stuff that we can play now move forward. But what about the stuff that is being made for the forward? They have to build that in a way that is backwards compatible. Will that restrict things? So that Halo comment is good. Halo is a next gen game that will be available for this gen as well. Is that hamstringing it? Is that rubber banding it so it can't run to its full potential? Interesting, good question. James says I was the same going from BF4 to 360, from the 360 to the PS4, and the difference is unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable, Jeff! The beauty, the amount of players it could accommodate, etc. Darian says, that's why I switched to PC. I choose how well my game looks. Touche. Or runs. But what if he did that with every hardware upgrade? Say like PS3 Slim to Super Slim, each had faster CPU and GPUs. If Microsoft can make it so Halo Infinite blows our eyes out and look unreal, then yeah, buzzing. I think they've done it to make sure Halo has a big user base across all platforms for the esports side. There's always issues with that though, having a cross-gen esport, because then what happens when you get to the finals? Someone has to play on a format that they're not used to, which I know it's all kind of the same thing, but we've had it with PES, for example. We've had events on PS3 and PS4, or on Xbox and PlayStation, and when you get to an offline final, then someone has to play on a unified console thing. So there's always that as well. Is that Take TV? I apologise if I've got that name wrong, but welcome. Thank you very much for following. Welcome in. How you doing? Rocket League is the only thing that's esports fine. Rocket League is, to be fair, Rocket League is 10 out of 10. It's I've seen people on PC or console in one room. What Rocket League has cross-gen in one room? Well, that's nice. That's nice. In terms of at major events, do they have major events? I know that there's loads of events, but I don't know if Rocket League themselves are on them. They could do. I'm just not finger on the pulse with the Rocket League stuff. But anyway. I am getting full onto the chat. This is what happens when you have good news stories. We can talk for hours. I mean, we're barely even scratching the surface at this point. But we will have to move on. But the point of it is, so what are your thoughts? We've had kind of a few mixed opinions in chat. Maybe it seems like we're all kind of leaning the same way. Sony's angle is some PS5 exclusives will be exactly that, PS5 exclusive. They won't be on the PS4. They may be on PC because, PS5 exclusive doesn't necessarily mean not PC, as we found out with Death Stranding last year, and people raged about, which is a bit bizarre, but there we go. So some PS5 exclusives will not be backwards compatible. Sony believe that you are investing in the future. You want to get the future. Do you guys agree with that, or do you believe that you should be able to play all of your games on all of your formats? Should all future releases be backwards compatible to an element as well? What are your thoughts? I mean, we said our thoughts. I believe I want a jump when I go forward with the next gen. So yeah, let us know your thoughts and impressions as we move on. Do you know those games that we're talking about? Well, do you know what? You might not be able to buy them physically for very much longer, as physical games could be gone in more or less 2 to 3 years, says Frontier boss. Brabham believes pandemic has accelerated digital adoption. This is written by Andy Robinson for VGC, and the article says Frontier CEO David Brabham believes the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the transition away from physical video games. As maybe looks at his wall of video games and sheds a few tears. Speaking during GamesIndustry.biz's investment summit online, the Elite Dangerous Studio founder noted that a significant amount of people had turned to digital video games during the pandemic and suggested that as a result it could be just a number of years before physical more or less goes away. We've seen an acceleration in the transition from physical to digital, he said. That is a good thing. It's probably 2 to 3 years before physical more or less goes away, and it's probably accelerated that timescale a bit. Digital sales for both PlayStation and Xbox games have increased significantly in the past months, which games industry's Chris Dring noted is unheard of in a year when new consoles are due to arrive. In their latest financial results, Electronic Arts, Sony and Take-Two all reported that digital now accounts for half of their console game sales, with that percentage expected to grow as the year progresses. NPD and GfK figures also showed a dramatic increase in physical game sales last month. Over 1 million games were sold in the UK in April, making it the most successful April for physical game sales in 5 years. Frontiers Brabham suggested that the benefits the games industry has felt during the pandemic could continue even after social isolation, but cautioned that the business should be aware of how fortunate it was to be in such a position. We're very lucky to be in a really great industry where, from a financial point of view, things are going really well, he said. Sales are up, the number of players in our games are up quite substantially, so that's the really positive side to things. Some of this is actually quite sticky. We first saw this in China, where there was quite a big uplift in players during their lockdown back in February. What's interesting is we get foresight of things with China going back to work, and we do see a slightly higher level of sales still persisting than we did beforehand. He added, there's a really strong silver lining here. The difficulty is you don't want to be going, oh, this is all great, because we know some people are finding it hard. Some people's partners are being made redundant or are struggling, so there's a balance there. But overall, it's been pretty good for our industry. Brabham's full GI.biz Investment Summit online talk can be viewed via the video in the link below. Gaming platforms have seen a significant rise in engagement in recent months, as many countries around the world advise their citizens to stay at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. Gaming content on YouTube generated 17 billion views during the week of March 30th, a record high for the video sharing platform, and Microsoft also announced record engagement figures for gaming services, with Xbox Live active users approaching 90 million and Game Pass subscribers topping 10 million during the company's third financial quarter ending in March. Bib, physical games gone.
Yes.
2 to 3 years. Thoughts?
Breaks my heart, but I mean it's inevitable. I know there's Chucky in here as well, who is a firm collector, especially of PES things. But as someone who loves to go and buy physical versions of games, it does break my heart a little bit, but it's kind of inevitable somewhere down the line that physical versions of games will decline. The annoying thing about it is the only thing that's going to be left is collector's editions, and we know they can run from between 75 quid up to about 500 quid. So I think they're going to be... There is still going to be physical versions of games. I just don't think there's going to be as many. I don't think you'll be able to walk into a shop and there'll be, I don't know, 150 versions, copies of that game. I think they'll probably reduce them to about 60 or 70, unless you pre-order them beforehand, so they know how many to get delivered into the shop on the day. I don't think they'll go completely. I think there'll still be physical copies, but I reckon it will be a case of we'll only print how many people want to pre-order.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I was reading through the chat then. Tech TV says, is it Take Care? I don't know, but anyway, welcome and good morning. Listening while working away, first time tuning in. Are you calling me George, or are you George? But hi the way, hello. The amount of costs it would cut is huge for companies, says Enix. And then this is the bit where I was going to get to. But let's face it, they won't lower the costs for digital versus real. It just means more profit, says Tharian Drake. Me and Bibby we've never really spoken about this before, about companies like Game or anyone that already charge quite high, and then digital companies doing exactly the same sort of thing.
We've never crossed this topic before.
It's a conversation that we just don't like, because
there's only one loser in there, and that's unfortunately people who are buying the game.
Yeah, so the gist of it is, on one side of the coin you've got physical stores. I started typing Graham and it turned into George. That's fine. Welcome. My dad and my brother both call George, so I'll just assume it's fine. Tangent. Back onto the game. There we go. So, on one side of the coin, you've got physical stores that are the brick and mortar stores where you pick up physical games. And the other side of the coin, you've got digital stores where you can just purchase it from home. Benefits for both. Digital purchasing, you don't have to travel. Job's gone right there in front of you. Convenience, pow. Physical stores, you do have to travel, but you get the tactile feeling. You get something you can take home. Excuse me, something that you keep, something that you can share. There's people that work in those digital stores and stuff. Then there's all of the production lines for everything. There's all sorts of jobs of business and industry. So you can understand physical stores should have a bit more of a cost to it. Some physical stores don't pass that cost on to their consumers. Quite often it's independents or supermarkets or so on. They absorb some of the cost to try and give you competitive pricing. You do then get some stores like... I can't think of one. I can think of one physical store. It sounds a bit like Schmame. If you were to buy a video game store from Schmame Game, where they just absolutely rank the prices up, like £700 for one console, because you get a good deal because you're buying all the extras and it's good, but they force you to spend more, and practices like that push people away from physical. So we're not a fan of that. So let's talk about digital then. Digital doesn't have to manufacture cases. Discs don't have to be pressed to turn them gold. Yes, there is all sorts of like first party costs and stuff you have to pay to put your games on stores, and first parties take cuts and all sorts of stuff like that. But generally, there's less cost going into that physical cost. So surely the game shouldn't cost as much, but no. Digital games usually hold their price at a higher RRP than physical stuff.
It's just like 15 sheets more, isn't it? So you can go to a game shop and buy a brand new game for about 40 quid. You go into the game store, go into the Play Store or whatever store it is that you're using on your console, and you're looking at about 55 sheets. It's ridiculous how they managed to slap 15 quid on for convenience.
Yeah, it is stupid, and that bit as well. What John just said, it stops third-party companies from making money from pre-owned as well. The margin is extremely small in terms of profit for a game store. It's huge, and there was a really good video I watched last night. I think it was IGN, and it was looking at Xbox, how Xbox started the last gen with the worst sales pitch in video games history. So it's the same conference that we talked about, where they spoke about new video games for 15% of the conference, but then talked about TV for the rest of the conference. I'm not interested in that. I don't care about that. But what they were saying is one of the things that Xbox butchered is the fact that you can't share your games. You can't give your game to someone else. You can't sell your games. And for a lot of people, that is how they play video games. They buy a game, they finish the game, they sell the game, which then gives them money to invest into the next game so they can keep the cycle going. Not everyone has all the money in the world. Digital takes that away, especially like if you don't have the money to invest in games anyway, and you can only buy them digitally on PlayStation and on Xbox, you have a monopoly there. You can't buy from multiple markets. You have to, if you want to buy it digitally, you have to buy it from the PlayStation Store. Yes, you can buy codes from other places that will allow you to get things. Not as many as you can, say, on PC and so on. They're much more scarce than that. But generally, you would have to go to the PlayStation Store, buy the game. If you're on PC, you can take your games from a number of places. You've got competition. It's nice and healthy. PlayStation, Xbox, you haven't got that, which is a lot of money. Say if you have to trade in your FIFA to get the next FIFA, or FIFA to get whatever game. You've played your FIFA for 2 months, and now you're going to play GTA or whatever it is. And that's how you continue with games. I mean, that's one thing. That's where you are financially restricted and you're having to use the games to invest in the next one. I've heard extreme situations, and I say extreme from my ethnocentricity, from someone that's based in the UK. Touch wood, thankfully for me, it's not too hard for me to go out and buy a game. But I know people from Latin America that, talking about PES specifically, they've had to go out and work overtime for 3 months before the new PES is released, so that they've been able to afford to buy the game. Imagine working overtime, like 10 hours a day, a week or whatever, for 3 months just to be able to afford a game. And then suddenly, okay, it's just gone up by 50% of the price because it's on a digital store. Well, that's another 1.5 months me working then. So, yeah. I am for digital games. I like that. I mean, I like the idea of having physical elements. Like, I mean, people talking collector editions. There's the Doom helmet, and there's games and physical collectory stuff behind me. I love collectory stuff. But I like the convenience of having digital, particularly in a streaming environment. There's less issues. I can just download the game somewhere else if I want to stream it in the office when we're back after COVID. I know that I don't have to take the games and stuff like that. But the cost that passes on, the games industry needs to take that into account. So David Brabham's saying, not even just them, EA, Sony, Take-Two, have all reported massive increase in money in terms of investment, in terms of users and everything else. It says they're lucky to be in a great industry from a financial point of view. Things are going really well. Well, pass that on if you're lucky, and we're in a not even just in a pandemic. If we are going digital, pass some of that on. Don't just keep it on your pocket. And I think that's where we need to start to see some of the change going forward, because adding 50% on top of the budget, yeah, you're not lucky. You that's not lucky at all. The luck isn't taking the money for yourself. Lucky is okay. You're extorting people that are there. That's I mean, strong words, but that's the gist of it. Let's jump back up. Strange one for me, as I do have a sizable collection of all the Japanese PES games and retro PES games, but I don't own a single disc for PS4 or Xbox One. Everything current is digital and has been for a while, says Chucky. And it says stop third party. I've done that bit. Tharian Drake, let's face it, you get your account banned, you lose your games on top of that. That's it. Completely agree. You could get your account hacked, which then gets your account banned. And I've known people that it's taken months to get their accounts back. I know people where they haven't been able to get their account back because they just get lost in a customer services black hole. There is that as well. Which plus refund policies being so strict stops people from refunding. PlayStation has the most strict. If you have downloaded the game, you can't refund it. Microsoft gives you 5 refunds every 6 months as long as it's under 2 hours.
See, that's shit.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
And there was, what was it, Final Fantasy or something, where some people, was it Final Fantasy? I can't remember. Well, basically, PlayStation was saying, we'll give you a refund because it's been delayed or pushed back, but only with store credit. So they weren't even giving you your money back. It's like, we'll give you your money to give it back to us because, it's locked in our system. You can't take it out now. I'm not a fan of stuff like that either. Since I've got digital, I'm thinking of only playing multiplayer games on a separate account just in case people mass report your account to get you banned. Thoughts on subscription-based services like Xbox Game Pass and PS Plus? I'm a big fan. PS Plus is a slightly different thing to Game Pass. PS Plus, you do get free games with it, but not as Game Pass is you are subscribing for games. PS Plus, you are generally paying for server maintenance, but the extras are free games. I'm all for both of them, different things. I feel if you're paying for a service, PS Plus now is much different from playing online on the PS3. You get generally a better service. I don't because Salmon Sky and it's success, but. Yeah, so I'm all for PS Plus because I get my money's worth in free games back over the course of a year. Plus, I've got a decent level of service, so I'm all for that. And Games Pass is amazing. There's no two ways about it. To get new and old games on Game Pass, both of them, really, really good. I would like to see Sony take more out of Microsoft's a page out of Microsoft's book in terms of improving Now TV to the level of Game Pass, but yeah, I think that'll probably come over time. Game Pass is unreal and probably the best thing in the industry at the moment, where Microsoft is absolutely killing it compared to PS Now, which is terrible.
I absolutely agree. Yeah. As someone who's recently come into the Games Pass world, big shout out to Alpy for helping me sort my PC out so I can actually play Games Pass on PC, which is what I wanted it for in the first place. I'm now able to play games like Minecraft Dungeons on the day that it came out without having to pay for it, because there's no way in God's green earth I would have ever paid for a Minecraft game. But this Minecraft Dungeons is incredible. Like, I absolutely adore it. And being able to play things like Football Manager on Games Pass, Alan Wake on Games Pass, and playing Saints Row on Games Pass, like, I will happily spend 25 sheets next month to get it for the next 6 months, because I love it that much. I will never have to buy a game again, especially when Microsoft love to chuck their first-party games onto Games Pass on the day of release. Like, why would I need to go out and buy Halo when it's going to be on Games Pass? It's amazing. It is the best deal in video games at the moment.
Absolutely. PS Now has more users because of a bigger install base doesn't necessarily mean it's a better prospect. I think it's just more people are there. People have probably paid for it and don't realise they're still paying for it, just like you do with Netflix and things like that, and Amazon Prime and so on. But Game Pass, definitely, Microsoft's Game Pass is without a doubt the best way to go. If they can, I would say for me, the better thing for them to do is it Game Pass Ultimate? Does that give you Xbox Live as well, or is that just PC?
Yeah, so Ultimate is Xbox Game Pass on the PlayStation, on the PlayStation, Xbox Game Pass on the PC, Xbox, and then your Xbox Live.
Yeah.
But there is just Games Pass where I think it's just for the console. You may get your Xbox Live in there. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I'm not clued in with everything about it, but I've got Xbox Ultimate so I can play it on my PC.
And for me, I would. They're probably working towards it. I would consolidate that and push more people to get Game Pass as part of the Xbox Live membership. And obviously, that will increase the costs overall. But that, for me, is where they kind of need to be getting towards the Holy Grail. Because if everyone is then invested in Game Pass, then it gives the strength of that as a buying platform as well so much more numbers, so much more leverage to get more games onto Game Pass as well. If everyone has Game Pass, then and it's the norm, then you'll just get so much more on there. Asking back to pricing, says the digital pricing is made down to lack of competition, only place to buy. So the PS Store, Microsoft Store, and Nintendo eShop can charge whatever they like. SRP, RRP. Physical, the prices are actually SRP, RRP, but the shops online do not undercut each other. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's that monopoly element, the lack of competition because you're in a confined ecosystem. On PC, I can just fire up Epic Launcher, I can fire up Steam, and then do you know what? That's where you can go. Okay, I'll check out Humble Bundle and everything else as well that way. Yeah. So there's a lot more freedom that, which is why games, you'll always hear that, like the master race going, yeah, but okay, 45 quid for you, 27 quid for me on launch day, and then 2 weeks later, still 45 quid. Okay, 4.99 for me today, and it's like what? So yeah, you buy a game, you should be allowed to play. You're paying for internet, you're paying for the game. Next, you get shafted to play with your friends. See, I get where you're coming from there. I do get that, but server costs are so huge with the like what we expect from games today. I mean, especially let's look at Valorant. What was that like? 128 tick servers and stuff. They are expensive to run. I mean, I know we're talking PC there, which is a slightly different thing, but. Console, having that confined environment, I don't mind the idea of paying for my access. If I'm guaranteed good servers and good service and all the rest within it, I don't mind a one-off fee. I don't want it to be stupidly high, but I don't mind it. I've come to terms with that. Go back to the start of the generation. I was like, yeah, but it was free last generation. Why am I paying for it now? Only copying Xbox because Xbox Live has always been PlayStation, blah, blah, blah. But I've come to terms with it. I don't mind it. It's a reasonable enough cost for me. I'd much rather there wasn't a cost, but I'm okay with it. Okay, quickly jump down through the chat before we jump onto the next article. Game Pass has 3 times more subscribers than PS Now. Quality of service plus xCloud gaming. Is that the case now? It must have jumped then because PS Now was the most subscribed fairly recently, but it could have changed because of how good Game Pass is. Because we did cover that. PS Now was the most subscribed to platform gaming service. Yeah, but. PC digital prices are cheaper because competition is huge. Hence, I found it. People moaned about. People moaned about Epic coming. In terms of people didn't like Epic, I think I've butchered that myself. Let me try again. It was me, Graham. They wouldn't give me my money back, just credit. Oh no, I know you mentioned that, but I've seen more people talking about that as well. But yeah, I think people didn't like Epic because they some people want the competition, but some people don't want competition in different places. They want all the competition to give them games in Steam. Yeah, it's like I don't want to have to open another launcher, which is bizarre. You've got competition. You literally bought the game from Humble Bundle, but you're playing it in Steam. Just play it in a different launcher. Anyway. Plus, go back to the console digital stores. The platform holders, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, take a heavy chunk from publishers, means prices stays high. Lots need to change to get digital pricing lower. 100%. Minecraft Dungeons was a surprisingly fun game. A lot of people have said that. Game Pass is the only reason I got myself an Xbox a few months ago. A lot of people have said that too. That Xbox video that was on about from IGN, I can't remember the name of the dude that was presenting it, but he basically said he didn't bother getting an Xbox until 2018, and this is someone that works creating video content for IGN, only got an Xbox in 2018 because of things like Game Pass and so on. So Xbox, the gist of that video, it's worth watching as well. It tells you how Xbox started as horrendous proposition at the start of the gen and are really, really nailing it at the end of the gen. It's a good video to watch. Epic Store / launch is great for free games and license exclusivities, but the overlay features and UI are so bad. That's true. Xbox Game Pass reached 10 million subscribers and PS Now 2 million subs as of last month. I could have sworn it was like 12 million, but yeah, I don't know. Can't remember. Anyway, let's move forward. Next,
can we make this one the last one of the day?
No, we've got.
So I've got nearly 15 minutes over.
4 stories to go now. It's all right. It's fine. It's not your anniversary. It's fine. Last story, which is an interesting one. Mercury is the code name of a large Xbox store update coming soon. If you've seen images of an app called Mercury floating around on Xbox communities, here's what we know about it so far. Thank you very much to JEZ CORDEN at Windows Central for writing this, and Jordan Eastwood at NXPVP for sending this to us to cover. Recently, an Xbox Insider program made an app called Mercury, which is available to a few testers, with a splash screen that just reads, "Coming soon. Please upgrade to access the latest and greatest." I received a few messages about it, and I thought I'd try and find out some more about what it is and what it does, and since some had speculated that it might be something related to Project xCloud, after doing some digging, it seems that this app is the codename of an upcoming Xbox Store redesign, rebuilt from the ground up on new architecture, designed for 4K TVs. This new store app is also destined for use on next-gen systems like the Xbox Series X and long-rumoured Xbox Lockhart, as well as current gen Xbox One systems. From what we've seen so far, the design of the Mercury Store app is almost identical to what is available on Xbox One consoles today, with many of the changes appearing to be under the hood. It's possible that more features and design choices will occur as the app moves closer to public testing, especially given the modernised design language we see in apps like the Xbox Beta app and the Xbox Game Bar on PC. If you try to install Mercury from the Microsoft Store to your console right now, the download simply fails, but it probably won't be too long until testers in the alpha and alpha skip ahead rings are able to take a closer look at it. Once we learn more info, we'll be sure to offer some updates here in the near future. So yes, long story short, Mercury is potentially a brand new Microsoft Store. Let me get rid of that. There we go. It's potentially the brand new Microsoft Store for the new generation of Xbox consoles. It's been tested, it's been tinkered with, and the Xbox game community are aware of it, but that's something to keep an eye on. One other article that we're going to look at today, which we'll jump on tomorrow, also shared by Jordan, is that Sega may be making a comeback into the video games industry. Do you want to know a bit more about that? What's that you? Oh, okay. It was Bib, not Jordan.
But this, sorry, just really quickly, this Xbox storefront one. I hope that the Xbox takes a huge inspiration from the one that we get on the PC, because the Xbox UI is shocking. Like, it's so bad. As someone who doesn't really play that much on my Xbox, when I go to find something within the Xbox UI, it's just so fiddly. Nothing is clear.
Yeah.
However, the Xbox Beta storefront that I've got when I'm using on Games Pass on PC it's amazing. If I want to find a game, I can find one like that. Not just because I've got a search bar, but everything's listed out into little sections. So if I wanted to find an action, fuck, sounds like someone's about to kick the door down. 1 second.
Bibby's getting swatted live on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. I've got to continue with his comment then into where I think he was going. Not just the Xbox UI, but the PlayStation Store is horrendous. Both of them. Even yesterday, I was running through. It was Mark from our team. We both have Death Stranding installed on. Well, we both have Death Stranding. Mark was like, "Do I have to pay for it again? I've not downloaded it. Does it expire? Because now I'm trying to download it from the store. It's saying it's going to cost me £45." And I was like, no, you've got it already. It's in your library. So he's trying to download it from the store. It's like, yeah, buy now, £45. And it's like, what? But then you have to you come out of the store, go into your dashboard, go to library, go down to games that you've purchased, and the exact same edition that's on the store is there. Do you want to download this now? Yes, please. And it's like, why do you not just, like, if I go into the App Store on Apple and go to whatever game I've downloaded and paid for, it'll be there, okay, re-download it for free. boom, there we go. But no, Sony's like, no, 45 quid if you want. I mean, you've got it. It's literally sat just here and you can have it. But yeah, it's like, yeah, you know what it's like.
There is a button somewhere, or there is a menu section somewhere in your PlayStation backend that says renew all licenses. So all the games that you've ever bought digitally go into there, and if they've been cached somewhere else, if you press that, it'll renew all the licenses that you have for the game. So, like, for instance, if you go to play a game that's a couple of years old and the online servers are still there, but you can't access it, if you click that, it'll then give you access to be able to play online again. It's really, it's like it just times out, and you just have to renew the license again.
Yeah, it's, even this one, I mean, Death Stranding came out last year. The fact that in one menu it's going, yeah, you've got it, of course you can download it here. And then in another menu it's going, oh no, you have to spend 45 quid on this. And it's like, I've got it. You know I've got it. Why doesn't the left hand speak to the right hand kind of thing? And and that's not even factoring in how clunky and lazy they are. But I think that comes into the same thing that Asim was saying about the console digital store holders. Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, they don't have any competition, which is why they can keep the prices high on digital stores. They also don't have any competition, which is why they can just leave the stores in the shoddy state that they are. Anyone that's ever worked in e-commerce, user experience is huge. You go through testing, A/B testing, multivariant testing, all these different long words that basically means, long story short, they make it as effortless and as painless and it's easy for you to pick up a product and buy it as quick and as safe as possible, because they don't want distractions. They don't want you get into a wall and going, how the fuck do I get past it? Because you'll just put it down and leave the shop. That's what would happen in a retail environment. So e-commerce, it's like, how can we just give them the games and get their money? They're safe, their money's protected, we get their money, they get out, boom. You do that on most websites. There's all things now like locking in Apple Pay if you're doing it on your phone, or PayPal, and you don't even need to create an account. We can just take your money and it's good. On PlayStation, it's like, okay, first of all, take a drop of blood, put it in between two pieces of glass, look at it under a microscope, and then 48 weeks later, after a million other steps, it's like, da-da! So yeah. Xbox Bear or Xbox Console Companion or the Xbox Game Bar or Xbox Insider Hub. Too many apps. I was like, what? But I get it now. James says, I heard about Sega making a comeback for a number of years now. Would be amazing, but what would they bring as they don't have exclusives, etc. anymore? Well, the rumour is of a Sega console. That's what this rumour that we're going to look at. But we'll look at it tomorrow, so we're going to end things now. We will look at that tomorrow. But the rumour is Sega are coming back, potentially a console, and potentially more, potentially tie-ins with Xbox. But like I say, we'll dissect all of that at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow morning on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Plus. We are going to disappear though because Bib is overrunning. He's about to get strung up because it's his anniversary and he's sat inside talking about video games. So actually, that reminds me, I want to talk about a lot of things to everyone right now. Starting with yeah, so we are going to disappear. We're going to drop off. We will be back at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow though. I will be sticking on, so we will go to the end slate. We will go offline and then come straight back on as I'm going to jump on with surprisingly, some PUBG gameplay today.
No way.
No, I know. There's the chances. So yeah, if you want to stick around for that, feel free to. If not, then feel free to drop off and come back at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow. You will get notified when we go live by hitting the follow button, which is kind of like up there though. Hit that, you'll get notified when we come back, whether it's for the scoop, whether it's for PUBG, or whether it's for the PlayStation conference at 9 p.m. UK time this Thursday. We will be covering that live, so feel free to hit follow now and you can watch that with us live. But anyway, before we do disappear, and before you go get absolutely trolleyed because it's your anniversary, anything you would like to add to the stream, Bib?
Yes, of course. If you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, just like Jordan does and just like a lot of people who join us in the chat each and every day does, you can go over to our Twitter page, which is at Ice Cream Uploads. But if you want to get in contact with your boy and Mr. Graham Day, then it's at We've Got to Be and at Graham_Day. We'll take your thoughts and impressions on the matter and then give our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m. Ish.
Yeah, and tomorrow is going to be a jam packer because not only do we have the scoop at 10 a.m.-ish, we'll also have Masters of the League episode 8 at around about 12, half 12-ish. Depending on what time we're going for the scoop. But so tomorrow is going to be a jam packer, ladies and gentlemen. Bring a packed lunch. We're going to be here for the long haul.
One thing I do want to add on the Master of the League stuff. If you want more Master League content, check out Zafar Cakes. ZAFARCAKES. KES, Sapphire Cakes. You've probably seen a lot of content being retweeted by me and Bib over the last few days. Anyway, stand-up comedian who essentially, because of everything that's happening right now, has moved his comedy onto Twitch, and he manages basically the exact same team that me and Bib are managing on our Master League playthrough, but on PS5, I think it is. So yeah, feel free to check that out.
Very funny.
The reason I mentioned that,
if you are very familiar with the players from the original Master League, like the equal players that we've included into ours, you will find it hilarious.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the reason I was mentioning it, we go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So does he. Ours is early today. He's at 9:30 p.m. So 9:30 tonight. Feel free to check that out. And then come back for our Master of the League tomorrow. But anyway, that wasn't a hashtag ad or spawn or placement. It's just generally good content. But check it out. As I say, we are going to drop off now. I will be back very, very shortly with some PUBG playthroughs. So if you want something to do over your dinner hour or whatever, then feel free to drop it in. Maybe even running some duos with NXPVP in the chat. But have yourselves a very lovely day, especially you, Bib, with your anniversary and that.
Thank you very much, Graham.
So what are you going to do for the rest of your day, Bib? What are you going to do?
It's a very good point. We're going to go mini golf, then we're going to take out 5 guys, and then we're going to have some milkshakes somewhere down the line. But who knows what the day's going to bring, Graham? Graham. It's very early in the day. It's a long old day, so we'll see what happens.
I didn't really want to know. I was going to say, what are you going to do?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to drag this out because I was waiting for more people to put "Stay Frosty" in the chat, and now they have. Thank you very much, guys. You got to stay frosty.
Yeah.